You never know.
All right, we're going to begin, please. Let's start with the pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you all for coming. And we hope everybody will able to see and hear. We've been working with the setup, so you'll have to let us know. All right, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 28th Board of Trustees meeting? May I have a motion? Motion made by Trustee Baskin. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Cormos. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I just have a couple of mayor announcements, and I'm going to add something to the agenda. Under new business, we have, as of Friday evening, we have added, we have completed the Village of Ballston Spa and Town of Ballston Fire District contract, which we're putting on the agenda tonight for passage and to authorize me to sign it. It's been a long time coming. And I would like to thank Attorney Buechner for her help. It was that was in the final stages of all this. It was a lot of attorney going back and forth. So thank you very much. Okay. The other thing I want to tell people, and this is just something in the library, this is just something that appeared and it was in the newsletter, which many of you got. But there is a presentation, Women of the Civil Rights Movement, and it's by Dr. Winston Grady Wills. He's a professor and director at Skidmore College of the Black Studies program. It's going to be held here at the Ballston Spa Public Library on Thursday, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. Dr. Willis has spoken here before, and he is an excellent presenter. So that's one of the library's programs coming up. So I hope you will come and attend. Okay, and with that, can we have the treasurer's report?
Sure. I've been staying pretty busy with the budget. We just wrapped up all the budget workshops from the last 2 weeks. And coming this week, specifically by the 18th, we should have the tentative budget to be filed. All paperwork and backup has been submitted to the state for reimbursement for the last 2 projects of the $150,000 DASNY grant. This is more specifically the last 2 projects, Saratoga Avenue. We have not received confirmation on disbursement date, but it all has been submitted. I have got confirmation from the auditors that the village audit report, I should have it by tomorrow, so I'll take my time to review it, and as long as it's okay, send it to the board, and I will see if we have any confirmation for a presentation following the audit. And lastly, over the next few weeks, we'll be submitting forms and documents for the first round of reporting required by the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds. The first round of reporting for non-entitlement units, which is the village, will be due by the end of April. And that concludes.
Okay. Very good. Do we have, we have no old business, and on the new business, we have, okay, we had 2 presentations this evening. We were going to have Tara Medalone Bristow, who's the Senior Services Manager for CareLinks and Wellness Express, but she is unable to make it. She is ill. So we are going to have a presentation. This is in keeping with, we've had departments present, and now we're having a number of the entities that either receive some money from the village from time to time for because we have contracts with them, or are active in the community and providing us services, and we thought it would be a good community effort to have folks speak, God bless you, about that. So we have Nora Oshkowski, I'm sorry, Oshkowski, if I'm murdering that name, I apologize. And she is the Executive Director of the Ballston Area Recreation Commission. Is Nora here? Ah, there you are. All right, Nora, can you come forward? And you can either stand here, or if you want to sit and present, you can do that as well.
That's what, one thing you could do is drag the chair like right here and sort of look that way. And if you wanted to.
Where am I
Have
looking?
your back to me, but if you want,
Okay.
I don't know, just.
And Nora, would you give me the correct pronunciation of your name?
Osahowski.
Osahowski, I apologize.
That's all right. So, hello, everybody. I am the Executive Director of BARC, or Ballston Area Recreation Commission. For those of you who don't know BARC, we are a recreation organization for kids mainly. We do some family programs, but it's mostly students, kindergarten through seniors in high school. We've been around since 1952. So a lot of our volunteers actually participated as kids in our programs. We offer a lot of athletics, but we also offer a theater program, an enrichment program, and an arts program. So we have a pretty broad variety. We're probably best known for our soccer program and our T-ball and baseball. They've been around the longest. The majority of our programs are for kindergarten through 5th, 6th grade. That's kind of our biggest demographic. But we do have some programs like theater and swim and track and tennis that are for middle school and high school as well. We are kind of a bare bones type of organization. We get most of our funding from municipalities, from the school district, and from the county, from the youth bureau. We keep our registration fees very low, so any family can participate. That's one of our philosophies, and it's making sure that anyone can participate who would like to. We also have scholarship offerings that we take donations for. So if someone can't, they just put in an application. We mainly run our programs with volunteers. More than 50% of our programs are volunteer run. We have over 150 volunteers a year. So that's kind of, we wouldn't be able to do it without the parents to do it. We also have businesses and community organizations that sponsor our teams and our theater program. We have a couple newer sponsorships for our enrichment program and our arts program. We do grants to kind of offset some of the cost as well. We've got a couple smaller arts grants recently that help cover some of those program costs. So we kind of cover everything. I don't know if anyone has any questions for me about what we do. And
Hi, I'm Tom Sullivan. I'm the chairman of Ballston Area Recreation Commission. So I work, we're there to support Nora, and she's the director. About 3 years ago, we started the incorporation process to become a not-for-profit. Since the 1950s, we were sort of a committee. It started from the Village of Ballston Spa, but really it kind of grew into the towns, and we kind of just identify ourselves as a sort of an entity. And so we incorporated mostly to help out with fundraising, so we can apply for grants. We work really closely with the school, obviously, to use all of their facilities as much as we can. So that pool over there, that theater, or the soccer field over on Eastern and Hyde, we make really a lot of use of that, and we just try to run as many diverse programs as possible. I think with Nora's coming on board 3, 4 years. 6. The diversification of the programs really took place. So it was more than just, hey, we're going to do soccer, we're going to do enrichment, twice a year. It was really looking into some different things, a hiking program, more theater programs like some and drawing and other stuff. So just trying to serve the needs of the community, and we really kind of roll with as the needs of the kids change or the interests change, the things we'll offer will change. And
If
so,
someone comes to us with an idea, which happens often, like I had someone last week ask me about a volleyball program. If they come to me with an idea and say, we have a big interest in this and I want to run it, here's my expertise in the background, and with my background, and we'll run with it. We do a little presentation to the board and we see if we can get facility space at the schools and we give it a shot. And that's how a lot of our programs have started, is based on what the community tells us they would like to see.
Any questions?
Actually, I have a question. Do you ever foresee any adult rec programs?
I have recently got that question about tennis.
I would love to see a volleyball women's, like, no experience rec program.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely open to it. Like our ski program was a family program, and that was for anybody who wanted to come. Some of our arts programs have been both kids and parents. So if there's a need for it and we can put it together, we're always open to things like that.
Wasn't there some issue with the school district not wanting you guys to use the building again? It's their building, right?
The Bark Building?
Yeah.
Yes,
Has that been resolved?
about them not wanting us to use
I
it.
thought they couldn't afford it anymore. There was something about.
No, there's no cost for the building. We had paid to have it built many years ago, but we've kind of outgrown it, and there's been some water damage issues and things, so they actually want to build a new building, also on the eastern half fields, and kind of turn the old one into storage, but we're still in the process of fundraising for that. And working on it.
yeah, this is one thing where we're getting into modern times here. The school is very interested in making sure that's a safe building. If they're gonna run a program there or something, they don't really use it. They occasionally have to use the bathrooms or something during
Field days.
or something. The building was built many, many years ago on a shoestring budget, and I'll just say it needs to get updated, and the school is really wanting us to build one that's up to their great standards if they were to build a new school building for education, and there's no really way for them to get around that with the state education department.
Excuse me, I mean, it's the school's property. Who's gonna build it? Is it the school or is it you?
It would be, we would have to fund it.
Yeah.
So the
All right.
school would give us some privilege to actually build the building. They support our programs. They work with us, like I said. And so they would give us allow it to be built, and then we would have to fundraise. It's obviously a huge capital cost to us. We really don't have that kind of money in any kind of budget, that a rainy day fund or anything like that. So. So with the COVID was a challenge for everybody. For us, that was a especially challenging time with the controls. I consider that kind of a bad time for everyone, but we kind of showed our ability to adapt, and with Nora's help and a lot of volunteers, checking people for temperature and health conditions and things like that, we kind of worked through that too. So I kind of consider that kind of a dark moment for everybody, but we kind of worked through that, and now hopefully we're on the other side of that. So very good.
I actually live across the street from your field. And, I'm very impressed, particularly during soccer season. The parents are all very encouraging. There's none of that, where a parent gets upset. And, it's very well run.
Our parent volunteers can take 100% of the credit for that. We have amazing coaches who volunteer 100% of their time and are there. Some of them coach 2 or 3 teams and are there every day of the week. And they really keep that program, all of our programs running.
And I just want to say, Bark is a great program. Like, I feel very lucky that we have this program in this community. And I know my kids have enjoyed it, and hundreds of kids have. Roughly, how many kids would use this program in a year or so?
We tend to hover between like 1,700 and 2,000. But obviously the last couple of years, we've been closer to 1,400, 1,500 because we had to close a couple programs, but that's pretty typical for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Laura. And for the benefit of the clerk, could you repeat your name, please?
Hi. I think I coached your daughter.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on with other business. May I have a motion that the attached budget transfers be approved?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Cormos. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Raymond. Any questions? Comments? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. May I have a motion that the Ballston Spa Central School District be granted permission to hold the annual Scotty's Stampede 5K on Saturday, May 14th, 2022. A permit will be issued upon receipt of proof of liability insurance. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Raymond. May I have a second, please? Second by trustee Baskin. Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. May I have a motion that the Ballston Spa Business and Professional Association be granted approval to conduct the farmers market in Wiswall Park on Thursdays from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. from June 11th until September 29th, 2022. Additionally, parking on Walnut Street will be reserved for vendors starting an hour before, placing cones to save spaces. Parking permits will be issued by the BSPPA to their vendors. The BSPPA requests that vehicles parking without the permit in the reserved spots be towed at the owner's expense. You will make the motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Cormos. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by trustee Raymond. Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Okay. Motion that I need a motion, please, that the Ballston Spa Business and Professional Association be granted permission to conduct concerts in the park in Iron Spring Park on Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. from June 30th to August 25th, 2022. Proof of insurance has been provided.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by trustee Baskin. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by trustee Cormos. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. All right, motion that the Ballston Spa Business and Professional Association be granted approval to conduct free family films in Wiswall Park with the option to use Iron Spring Park as an alternative site on June 1st, rain date June 2nd, July 1st, rain date July 2nd, August 5th, rain date August 6th, and September 4th, rain date September 5th, starting at dusk each evening. Proof of insurance has been provided. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by trustee Raymond. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Baskin. Any questions or comments? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Okay. May I need a motion, please, that the Saratoga County Agricultural Society be granted permission to conduct the Saratoga County Fair from July 19th to July 24th, 2022 at the Saratoga County Fairgrounds. Proof of insurance has been provided.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, may I have a motion made by trustee Raymond. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Baskin. Any questions or comments?
I just have a question.
Mhm.
It's on their property. Why do they have to get our permission?
Because it's a function in the village of Ballston Spa, and also because
Besides-
we provide, the access, and also we provide, we have to have notification so that we can provide, police presence as needed.
Just wondering.
Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. Motion that, I need a motion that Eagle Mat Lee Fire Company #1 be granted permission to hold a private event on April 16th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by trustee Raymond. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Second by trustee Cormos. Any questions or comments? Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye, please. Aye. Okay, motion carries. Motion for the Village of Ballston Spa to establish the position of Superintendent of Public Works in accordance with Civil Service Law, Section 22, and to authorize the mayor to sign the necessary paperwork with the Saratoga County Human Resources Department establishing this position. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Raymond. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Second by trustee Cormos. Any questions, comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, motion, and I need this motion as well, motion to approve the Village of Ballston Spa and Town of Ballston Fire Protection Contract for the period January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2023, and to authorize the mayor to sign this contract. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by trustee Baskin. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Second by trustee Cormos. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Next we have the consent agenda. All right, motion for Union Fire Company number 2 be authorized to expend the amount of $9,102 for turnout gear under category A3412, and that Eagle Mat Lee Fire Company number 1 be authorized to expend the amount of $2,380 for masks and hosing. And that's A 3411.2. We have a motion, please, for the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Raymond. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Basket. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. All right, next up is trustee liaison reports.
No,
I don't have anything to this time.
nothing beyond what we did with the budget.
Market Committee has its meeting tomorrow. Everyone who wants to attend. So I'm going to be on Zoom.
Okay, Park and Tree Board has its tomorrow.
Right.
What time?
7.
7 p.m. Okay, via Zoom.
They requested to continue to have it via Zoom for time being.
They can do that through tomorrow unless the governor continues the state of emergency.
Okay. I'll inform you.
After tomorrow at midnight, if she chooses not to extend the state of emergency, then the meetings have to be in public.
Okay. I'll let them know.
All right. Do we have any other business? Anybody want to bring up any other business?
I just think it's not other business, but it went so fast. I was wondering if we could just say 2 sentences about why we're establishing this position of superintendent of public works. I mean, I know in general, Jeff is just very busy.
Well, the plan is to establish the position, which is a competitive position, so it has to take an exam, and Jeff, it will be a promotional position for him. And he will be the person who takes the exam. And then we have another position in the budget, an open position, but what we're going to do is use he will vacate the working supervisor position, and then we will fill the working supervisor position. That'll be, the budget line that we use for the laborer will, the working supervisor position will encompass that as well. So there will be one additional person now added at Department of Public Works in the position of working supervisor.
But we already had budgeted for that position, but as a laborer.
Yes, that's in the budget, yes.
Yeah.
Okay? You're welcome. All right. Okay, now we're up to public comment. I am going to open the floor for public comment. I remind the audience that this is only about village business. We know that there is an election tomorrow, so there'll be, please, no grandstanding, no political commentary. It has to be about village business, and the limit is for 4 minutes. And please, vision is not my strong suit, so if you have a comment, would you please raise your hand in a way that, you know, don't do this. Give me this. Okay? Okay. In the back. Okay. Yep. And please state your name and your address, please, for the clerk. Oh, and do you want to come forward and sit here, please, so we can all hear you?
The reason for that is that the microphone for the Zoom audience is up here, and we had some concerns with people not being able to hear the public comment or presentations. So this way everyone can hear it.
No spotlights. Okay. Lisa Spidell, resident taxpayer, 106 Prospect Street, Village of Ballston Spa, Town of Milton Side. I was going to continue with my personal plight, but I think it behooves me more to address the treatment of those of us that take the time and energy to come to public meeting, listen to what is going on, voice our concerns, and bring our questions to the table so that we may share that with others that don't have the time or ability to do so. That is in fact what democracy is about. From an excerpt from D is for Democracy by Alyssa Gordon. D is for Democracy, where citizens can choose whom they wish to vote for and freely share their views. I am most of my life born and raised Ballstonian, recently buying a house in the Village of Ballston Spa. I have been known to go to Town of Ballston meetings in times when I feel my voice needs to be heard, and in times that I just want to know what is going on. I now have an interest to attend village meetings, more important than ever, as I am a homeowner, not a renter, and what goes on directly affects me, my property, and my ability to enjoy said property. In the short time I've lived in the village, I'm discouraged in the way the board has a resounding disregard for what people have to say, as well as the disparity in how they handle the rules, otherwise known as the village code. You don't seem to know how to play nice in the sandbox and make up rules as you go to fit your agenda at the moment. Mayor Fitzpatrick, I do want to say that while I am passionate, I don't put myself out there unless I am stating fact. I am far from ignorant, and when you shut me down at the last meeting, you made a statement that was false. I tried to interject and correct, and I don't know what your exact words were, but it was basically, I've had my time to speak, and what I say now is how it's going to be. Putting words into someone's mouth, stating things on the record that are not fact, and blatant disregard is not only rude, but unprofessional, in my mind, something not becoming of a leader. I have asked questions that have specific answers that should be easily answered, if not on the spot, by the next meeting, and none of them have been answered to date. My plight is ongoing. Others have asked their own questions over and over, not to be answered. Taking time to answer FOIL requests of available documents, as trustees have referenced, shouldn't take to the 20-day deadline. Living in a village of friends should not be this difficult. Enforcing codes differently for people that live near schools versus not near schools, not enforcing the code, and breaking up code enforcement to each side of the village, Ballston versus Milton, is not the right direction to be heading. While I think that it's lovely that the current board of trustees wants to do things to encourage outsiders to visit and bring in revenue, I think you are missing the fact that a lot of the insiders are not so concerned about that as much as we are about being the ones that work, come home at night to our homes and property, and want to be assured that we are taken care of before outside needs are addressed. I was taught when I do things, do them right the first time or don't do them at all. Band-Aid fixes come at a larger expense in the long haul. A good business person would tell you, you have to spend money to make money. While I'm not against grants, they seem to come with fees attached to them. Money that we need to fix things correctly the first time. Our sidewalks have never been perfect, not in my lifetime, but no one has died because of them. Our trees are lovely. Do they cause problems with the sidewalks? Sure, but they clean the air as well. What is wrong with our park in the middle of the village? People can congregate there now and do so safely, which is what a park is for. We don't need to improve on that now. Use the money for a priority. If you can't take care of the residents you have, how are you going to bring in not only new residents, but new business to fit into the abandoned properties, which ultimately increases the tax base? No one wants their taxes raised. If they did, that would be highly unusual. The fact is, in pressing times, when push comes to shove, just be honest. Figure out the numbers. We know we aren't going to like them, but it's a fact in today's world. With the price of gas rising exponentially, COVID in the rearview mirror, it will be the residents of the village spending time here. Take care of us first, and the rest of us will fall into place. Trust and dream big.
Okay. Anyone next, please? Yes.
You could probably do it from right here. Yeah, I probably can. Oh, yeah. Whoops, I got the wrong list. Hi, Carolyn Johnson, 91 Church Ave, Ballston Spa. For those of you that do not know that address, it's Doubleday Woods. Good evening. I watched the first budget workshop and I have a concern. My concern is the lack of respect, compassion for seniors that was shown by this board. While I think it was nice that the board considered a crosswalk for seniors at Doubleday Woods, what happened during the discussion was disturbing. Apparently, to get a crosswalk installed, a certain number of people would have to use it. Yet another study needs to be done to see how many people would cross Route 50 at Doubleday Woods. Not funny. I was so angry when I heard Trustee Baskin and Trustee Cormos come up with the brilliant idea of offering free coffee across the street from Doubleday Woods to lure the residents across Route 50 to fulfill their numbers quota. Then all of you on the board laughed at that idea. Not funny. I don't understand how this topic is so funny. It is funny to make seniors cross Route 50 with total disregard for their safety. It is funny to disrespect seniors. Your behavior was not only unprofessional, but it was disgusting and it showed a total lack of compassion, Mr. Baskin. When I was growing up, I was taught to respect and care for seniors. Obviously, that lesson is missing from your lives. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
Good evening, all. My name is Jared Icolucci. I live at 24 Chapman Street. I'll take a seat here, but I just had a few things to say. First of all, to our park guests today, I'm from the Ballston Spa Village. I was raised here. I chose to move my family back here when I started having children. Bark was a huge part of my life. I'm excited for it to be a part of my children's life as well. So thank you for the hard work you do. It's incredible stuff. Second, I'd just like to say, first of all, I think I've had a much different experience from some of the folks we've heard so far. I've had nothing but respect from our village trustees, and I'm grateful to be able to have conversations with them if there are issues that come to mind, whether it's here in a village meeting, in a committee meeting where they may be liaising, or just an email that gets sent, and they're very frequently good at responding to that and addressing needs. So I want to thank you all first and foremost for being responsive. I'd also just like to add the transparency that I've seen from this village, this group of village trustees has been the best in my lifetime. I was grateful upon moving back to the village to encounter again a board, including Larry at that point, that was very good at providing information and updates, And that's only accelerated with monthly newsletters coming now, providing transparency on everything that's going on. So I want to thank you for that as well. I'll also just add one final note here that on code enforcement, I have been really impressed this past winter, this current winter that we're in. Due to some circumstances, I've had to move out of my home and live with my folks. As a result, we weren't always there during snowfall. And I was pleased, as crazy as this may sound, pleased to see a green notice hanging from my doorknob when I was not able to get back and shovel my sidewalk on time. That gave me a sense that the village is taking care and trying to ensure that our sidewalks are clean, that we're following through on our code obligations, and that all of our citizens here are living up to their needs. So I'll just end it at that. I want to thank you all. Thank you for your time.
Okay, all right, yes, Mr. Ross.
Thank you, Mayor. Frank Rossi Jr., 63 Saratoga Avenue, apartment B. I'm glad the last speaker was not shamed for living in an apartment or moving in with their parents, among other things, because I'm actually sitting here as somebody that was shamed for that during a campaign. Nobody should ever have to feel that way, ever. We are a part of our community as much as anybody. And I'm glad that you've at least felt that way. I have not. A lot of us have not, and that's wrong. Also wrong, a number of years ago, Trustee Cormos and I both kind of converged in agreement. Believe it or not, we agreed
I don't remember.
that during budget workshops, there should be public comment. So I came to the budget workshops, as the Bernadette and many others, this go around, assuming we would have some ability to join in on the Q&A, especially right now with our economic conditions the way they are. One of the biggest things I've heard talking to residents is they're concerned about what their burden is going to be, why, what they're getting from that burden essentially. Makes sense. Much to my surprise, somehow the rules got rewritten without much notice that there would be no public comment in those budget workshops. I was thrilled to hear the back and forth with Bart tonight. And by the way, let's add some flag football, though I will not officiate if I'm mayor, because that's one way to lose about 100 votes right there. But the idea is, if we can have a back and forth about Bart, we sure as heck better be able to have a back and forth about our budget, department by department. Know what's going on, give some input about maybe, do you want the same level of asphalt repavement done this year or not? Because that is energy affected as much as anything price-wise. We're not included in that discussion. Maybe it's the whole issue of they don't understand the complexities, Mayor. That's wrong. We do understand the complexities of our bank book and yours for that matter here in the village. We have to trust our residents a little bit more than we do. I'm thoroughly disappointed with, unfortunately, the transparency at times because it's just not there. And transparency it doesn't just mean you talking to us, it's you listening to us and having conversations. Ben, I appreciate the question about the superintendent job. I do. Actually, I think I was going to actually ask the question if you didn't. Why the heck did you vote on it if you didn't know about it or understand it fully, though? Tonight, I would ask you.
You want me to answer now or later?
Let me finish my 4 minutes because she's going to count it against me, and then feel free to. How's that? And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm sure the clock won't stop.
I got an answer.
So, nonetheless, we should have known what was going on before the vote, not after the vote. We should have had the chance to ask the question before the vote, not after the vote. It's a position. I get that there may have been discussion during the budget, but again, didn't get a chance to ask those questions then either. That's not transparency. And that's not what our Village of Ballston Spa is about. We must do better. Thank you.
Next person, anybody online? Anybody
We do
online?
have two online if you want to go.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
Ben, did you want to answer?
Good.
We'll wait till the end. Okay.
Sorry, sitting right here.
Pardon?
Is it okay if I stand right here?
Sure.
All right, so just want to introduce myself, Chris Dubuque, 6 Kaling Drive in the village. I'm not here for myself tonight or for my family. I'm actually here for our organization. I co-lead an organization of about 900 members, New York informed Saratoga County. There's a couple issues we've been fighting against for the longest time as an organization. One of them obviously was mask mandates in schools for our children. I'm sure you've all seen the signs up around the village for unmasked our kids for Saratoga County. Obviously, with the change of policy, the school has made it optional. We've been at board meetings consistently for that. We don't just stand for unmasking the kids, we stand for numerous issues. Obviously, if anyone has been aware of it, with Judge Rademacher making the decision that our executive branch in the state overstepped their bounds and obviously passed 2.60, which is the regulation that governs the wearing of masks in public places. That was not backed up by legislature. Now, there is proposed legislature right now on the state level that is going to turn the power into your, or grant the power and put it in your hands on a local level, where municipalities can push back against overreach, if it's on the county level or the state level. Now, there's an election coming up tomorrow. There's a couple of members in here. I understand you don't want that to be a back and forth. I can completely understand that. We're not a political action committee by any means. We just take information, and as our name suggests, we inform people on that. I'm sort of curious where the sitting members would be, that if that legislation were to pass that gives the local municipality the power to push against the state or the county when there was clear overreach in the situation, how would you respond? Would you stand up for your constituents in the village? Would you push back against the county? Would you push back against the state? We are known as the Village of Friends, but we've been anything but over the past 2 years, with people turning against one another over vaccines, over masks. I know one of the concerns in the village is what happens if there is a vaccine passport that was implemented in this village or statewide, not just confined to the city. Again, we stand for informed consent. Obviously, people have the right to choose. I don't think the village or a lot of municipalities, again, we're a county organization. I don't think a lot of people in the county realize just how many taxpayers and taxpayer base you would lose of people vacating Saratoga County or vacating New York State altogether if you take away our right to choose whether or not we vaccinate or whether or not we choose to wear a mask in a location. So again, these are questions I'd like an answer from all the trustees, including the mayor, and also maybe the proposed candidates out there who will be running tomorrow. We have many members who are village residents in our organization who will be voting tomorrow, and I think they would very much like to know that information, because that is going to govern the way they vote both tomorrow and moving forward for the village. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
We ready to move on to the hands on Zoom?
Yep.
Okay. The first one I have is Jeremy Baird. I will allow you to talk. I'm hoping that you'll test it out to make sure his speaker can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Baird. I'm from 3 Maple Avenue in the village. And I just wanted to thank the board and the village staff for working on the audio quality and video quality for Zoom meetings. It's for someone from home, it's very beneficial. You could hear everyone loud and clear, both the board and any public comments, so that's great. I also wanted to commend the board for the monthly reports we've been getting and presentations by the various departments and other entities that interact with the village. They've been very helpful to learning the challenges that the various departments have and the programs they work on that we may not know as village residents. Thank you.
Okay, next I have is Dick Duffy.
Hello, do you have me?
We do.
Hello, Dick Duffy, 21 Division Street, Ballston Spa, New York. Couple of quick things. First question is, I was listening to one of the budget workshops the other night, and there was a question that concerned me is nobody knew whether we had spent a Tedisco grant that's been bounced around for, I don't know, a few years now. And I was wondering if we came up with an answer to where that money is or where it has been used. Number two, the position I know a couple people have spoke on already, the superintendent of public works. I wonder if we could get a little better explanation of that. Why do we need it? And if I understanding right, it's gonna, the working supervisor position is still gonna stay there. And you're gonna use the money for a laborer to pay that. But my concern is we still need equipment operator and CDL drivers. And why are we putting this position in when we need these other things? And also, just in the budget workshop the other night, I listened to Chief Kevin Crowe speak about the fire department budget. And we're coming up with our budgeting a contract to send our fire trucks out for service, which were always done in the DPW garage locally before. And as a retired mechanic, I think maybe we need to look at another mechanic in that garage, because I do know that a lot of the outside working guys come in at all times and help work on it, and that pulls them from the street. I think we really got to look at this picture. Thank you.
Okay, next I have Ray, I'm assuming on.
And you're assuming right. Good evening, everybody. I'm apologizing for not being there in person tonight, but it's difficult for me to get in there without my wheelchair. And right now my wheelchair is not in the best shape. I have trouble getting up from the chairs that you have there, and I need an armchair in order to get up. So my problem, not yours. Couple things I want to talk about. Is there any consideration being given to maybe this summer, when the weather gets a little bit better, to having meetings in remote places within the village? And I'm not talking about anything real strange here. We've done it before. And just having it not necessarily in somebody's backyard, but maybe in the public buildings that we own that are throughout our village. Like maybe a meeting in one of the firehouses or both firehouses, maybe an outdoor meeting at the pavilion up on behind the Union Firehouse, or possibly an indoor meeting down at the DPW building, or at the police department in their garage or something, or in the court building. Just a thought that might be for consideration, so people can see actually what these buildings are. My only other comment tonight was I listened the other night to the police and fire budget workshop. And the one thing that struck me was that Mr. Baskin's name was brought up by Kevin Crowe. And Kevin said, "I'm glad I finally got to meet Ben Baskin." Now, Ben's been in office for a year and he never met one of his department heads. I don't understand that. It just is beyond me. Wow, that would happen. And then we vote on budgets and things like that for this definitely needed service, but we never even met the department head, and we're not familiar with what they do. Just an observation, and you know, if Mr. Baskin can answer that, and I'd love to hear the answer to that question, why he never met with the fire department in a year. Thank you. Have a great night.
That's all we have.
All we have.
Actually, I have
A quick one.
Gina Morosi, 10 Old Glory Lane, Ballston Spa. Last week, I mentioned that there's a few FOIL requests in for the John Street Water Tower and the water system. There's 2 reports that are available. Trustee Raymond actually read from those reports, so we know where those reports are. I don't understand the holdup on fulfilling those FOIL requests. I know you have the 20 days, and yes, I know it's 20 working days, not weekends included, I get all that. But if you know where they are and the public wants to see them, why aren't you just handing them over? Or better yet, as was discussed last time, post them to the website so that everybody can see what's going on. I don't understand the delay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Sorry, I don't want to miss anybody. Nope. Anybody online, Julia?
I have no more.
Okay, just a couple of things and then I will turn it over. Ms. Spidel, thank you for your comment. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong, am I not?
No, you are absolutely
Spidel, like the, like,
like the watch.
like the watch band.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
We did, since the last time, we have been in touch and I put you in touch with and had them respond to you, the animal control officer from the town of Milton. And I will also say, and this was just this, I just got this resolved today. There will be a ticket served on your neighbor within the next 72 hours. And I wanted to catch you before you came in. I want to, say,
I appreciate that. because
Okay.
This has been going on since November.
I understand. Okay. But I was only able to resolve, the moving parts today. And so there you have it. But that should happen within the next 72 hours. Okay. I wanted to talk the public crosswalk. Carol?
That's me.
Yeah, that was not a study. That is and maybe Trustee Raymond can talk about this, but the whole discussion about a crosswalk, that's a DOT requirement to put it in. It's not a study. We're not asking for it's a requirement that they have to survey. They have to have a number of people before they put in a crosswalk. That was a requirement. So that was what that was about.
Yeah,
And maybe
if I can expand on that. Since DOT has basically a requirement for that specific type of crosswalk, which also would be augmented with what's called an RRFB, which is a rapid rectangular flashing beacon. So basically it would have a push button activated button that would have rectangular strobes so that when somebody was going to cross the street, they would flash that alerts oncoming traffic that there's a pedestrian crossing. And that's the reason for DOT conducting a study to see if there is enough pedestrian crossings to warrant something of that nature.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. Then the village has nothing to do with taking care of surveys or anything like that then? You wouldn't take a survey to find out how many seniors will walk across the street or whatever, would you?
No, that would be conducted by DOT.
By DOT. Thank you.
Okay, can I add to this conversation?
Sure.
Okay. So first of all, I take the welfare of our community seniors very seriously. And I take some offense to the idea that I don't. I've worked in senior services for over a decade. On this board, you have people who have worked with seniors probably more than any other board in the history of this village. And I brought the whole idea of a crosswalk up because I am very concerned about the crossing at Route 50. There are seniors who cross there and it's very dangerous and they don't go to the intersections. So this is an attempt by all of us to improve the safety for seniors and their welfare, looking out for them and helping them. Because I've been told that they do cross to go to Stewart's and other places. I don't remember this joke about offering them coffee. It's not something I said if it happened, but it was a very serious conversation of a very serious issue. And we all take it seriously and we hope that this happens because it will increase the safety of people in that area and hopefully reduce accidents. There was just an accident outside the high school, as you might know, and both us and the town of Ballston are both looking very closely at the issue of crosswalks, these flashing crosswalks, high visibility crosswalks. They happen to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000. but DOT would pay for that if there's enough traffic that goes across within a certain period of time. That's the study. And that's how, in general, things get paid for. There needs to be an establishment of what the need is. And if the need's big enough, then you get places like the state to pay for that. If there isn't, then we pay for it locally. And we actually did, I don't know, I have to see what the budget is currently, but we suggested, and I think at least tentatively put in some funds for that crosswalk. Now, in addition to the DOT study, I have been talking to the service coordinator there and the property manager and trying to get a sense to assist, because I've been in touch with DOT and they want to know what are the hours that seniors cross. So I sent a short questionnaire to Ann asking her to help distribute to seniors, asking when do they cross Route 50? When's the most common times? And that will assist the DOT to know when they need to do their survey. And if all things work out, hopefully they will pay for not just the installation, but also the maintenance of that crosswalk. So that's why there's some studies, and studies are not a bad word. Studies are how we get things done and establish need and get funding and make things happen. So I don't apologize for another study. It's a short little, small little study, but it will hopefully save us $15,000. And it will also hopefully improve safety for seniors that we all care about. So in addition to my efforts with Doubleday Woods, I also sent a letter to all the seniors at Mohican Hills, introducing myself and encouraging them to get in touch with me if they had any questions or concerns. I did get some responses. And for example, one thing that happened was in the effort to increase transparency and communication with people, seniors and others in this community, the suggestion that was provided to me was to provide hard copies of minutes and other materials that happen at meetings in the village hall, because people from Mohican Hills go down there towards the post office. They always pass the village hall to get to the post office. They can stop in and get a hard copy of minutes. And so that has happened now that whole back and forth occurred. So I take my job very seriously. I take the welfare of seniors very seriously, and we're doing everything we can to promote their welfare and safety. There's nothing funny about it, but I understand that there are political things happening right now, and that's what's going on.
May I ask you a question? Please.
Just watch the
Okay.
video, everybody.
Watch the video, go right
Yes.
ahead. I encourage you to actually.
The quote,
Watch that
the
video.
quote, the direct quote then was between 9 and 9:15, we should offer free coffee at Stewart to watch how many go across the street.
I did
And
not
there was
say
a
that.
lack.
Yes, you
It
did.
was.
No, I did not say that.
Somebody of
Excuse me, excuse me.
Yes, you did.
All right,
That's
That's-
not funny.
that's enough, please. All right, no, we're not gonna have this back and forth.
All right,
Okay,
what's your question?
May I have, yes, I do
I
have
don't
a
remember
question.
saying that, that's for sure.
Uh,
But in any case.
In any
Go
case,
ahead.
at that meeting, there was disrespect shown for our seniors. And what I forgot to mention before is I'm the president of the Resident Association, so I know all about you being there. Number two, why all of a sudden are we looking at a crosswalk when they've needed one for years? Why now, before tomorrow?
May I
I've
answer
been working
that?
on this for
May,
months.
may I answer
Yeah, go
that,
ahead.
please? Okay, one of the things that we did is, and then I'm gonna get back to my point, because I'm gonna close this section down if I may.
Yeah.
Because I'm a senior and I don't wanna lose the thread of my conversation, because I'll have to start all over from the beginning. The reason we're doing this is that we each have areas that we're supposed to focus on. Trustee Raymond, and this is new to this. Well, I don't know if it's new to this board, but it's very operational with this board. Trustee Raymond deals, for example, with DPW and a lot of the infrastructure issues because he's a civil engineer. Ben's quote unquote portfolio when he joined the board was senior services, and he's doing it very concerned for seniors. He's doing it very conscientiously. So the question is, when you say why now, this is one of the reasons, because we have somebody on this board who is focused, assigned to focus, and is committed to focus. And the question really should not be why now. The question should be, why wasn't it done before? It's
That's what
being
I
done
meant.
now. Okay, and now I'm going back to what my responses, if I may then.
Yeah,
And then you-
just to add to that, one reason it came up is because we knew budget season was happening, and so we needed to think about, do we need to put this in our budget, or can DOT do it? So there was that conversation, is this going to be in our budget or not? So that was part of the.
And Ben was very much an advocate of this. And the other thing I want to add to what he was saying is that DOT doing a survey, it's a requirement. It's not, you're not going to get a crosswalk if you don't do this requirement for DOT, okay?
Well, that's why
All
I
right.
asked if DOT does it or if the village does it.
Right, and so now you know. Okay.
You're saying it's DOT.
If DOT is required to do it in order for us to get funding from DOT.
Okay. so
Okay,
what-
and then if that doesn't fall through, we have put some, we will then go to the next step of seeing whether or not the village will pay for it. And we have put some provision in the budget in case that happens, which is, good
My
planning.
question is, which not answered, is, does the village send out the survey to the residents or does DOT?
So I can answer that. So we are working with DOT. So they were very happy to hear that we were going to ask residents, survey them when they were going to cross the street, because that helps them with their survey to know when they should be there. So we're working in a partnership. We're doing it together, but they will be the actual ones who go on the street and start counting bodies.
Well, I think it would be more transparency if it's gonna be them that's gonna put this up, that they should be part of the survey, not just the village if they don't.
Well, they're going to be.
partnership.
Well, none of the names was on there for DOT for the survey. I can tell you that.
Not the questionnaire. That was I put my name on there and the return number.
You're not DOT.
I think I explained that DOT was interested in.
I don't want to go through this anymore. Mayor, please go on.
Okay, all right. I want to get back to public comment at workshops, okay? The budget, first of all, the workshops are something that we do in terms of being responsive to the requirements of the New York State Controller and putting together a budget. Okay, but their workshops, primarily, the purpose of them is for the board, whose responsibility it is to comprise the budget, to put the budget together. So it's our opportunity to talk and to learn. Public comment is a privilege. It is not something that we are required to give in every instance, and very frequently is not done in workshops. These workshops went from 7 usually till 10 o'clock at night. So that's one of the reasons we did not have public comment. There will be public comment. There will be public comment there'll be a public hearing actually on the budget when we bring it out, when it's I think the date is April 11th. Okay. The other thing, the gentleman who spoke about masks, I do not know what I would have to see the legislation in order to know what my response is. I would want to read the legislation so I could be fully informed. So that is my response to that. I don't know where I would stand, and I would want to read the legislation. So I'm not going to take any poll. I would request that no other, well, you can do what you want, but I don't think any other board member should. And I do not want to have a public poll. If you want to talk to any other candidates about that mask requirement, please do it after the meeting and outside, because I'm not conducting a public poll, a political poll in here.
Ms. Mayor, I just add that for me personally, I would follow whatever the local county health department would advise. This would be my recommendation, to look to them for leadership. They're the experts on what they're going to do at the county level, at least as a first step.
Okay. The other thing, Mr. Tedesco, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Duffy, about the Tedesco grant, the discussion was not, had we spent it. We know that the Tedesco grant has not been spent. The Tedesco grant has gone through many scopes of work, yes, and that's what we were discussing. And I have not had a chance this week, with everything that has been going on since that workshop, to talk about that. We have had, subsequent workshops, and so I do not know every single answer about the budget, and what can I say? I don't know that anybody coming into this would know everything. I think the person who knows the most about our budget is Julia, and this is what these workshops are all about. And all of this is a learning experience, and we get to learn, and you learn by doing. The other thing is, okay, with the this was about the position of the superintendent of public works. What we are trying to do, the reason we're trying to establish this is that we feel that this is the best way to effectively run the Department of Public Works. And there is the working supervisor, the position of working supervisor will be that we're saying that funding for that has been with the labor position. So that's why that's with the labor position that is in place. So that's the reason we're doing this, because we want to effectively, this is the best way for us to manage the Department of Public Works. We get an enormous amount of requests for people and for work being done by the Department of Public Works. We are told over and over again that we need more people. We have an open position. We're not really adding a position. Well, we have an open position, and this is how we're choosing to fill it, by establishing a superintendent of public works, to have somebody who's actually doing the position of the superintendent of public works, and then to backfill that with somebody else who's doing the working supervisor position. Okay, and I think.
And just to add for Mr. Rossi's question, I had that background, but I thought I asked the question because I thought it'd be helpful for everybody in the public to hear that.
Right, thank you. Okay, and of course, when this is done, you can certainly, well, you don't even need for it to be done. You can get on the county of Saratoga website, and you can look up the position description for the superintendent of public works. Okay, and I think that is
My FOIL
all.
request.
Oh, your FOIL request. Oh, right. Okay, so the village received FOIL requests for two separate individuals, both requesting the same information. In response to the first set of requests, the village complied with the Freedom of Information law by advising the requester within 5 days that the village was reviewing the requests and the documents, and would advise as to the grant or denial of the request within 20 business days, which is March 24th, 2022. Since the FOIL documents were so close in time and requested the same documents, the village inadvertently did not send the 5-day letter to the second requester. However, at this time, the village has not received an appeal in writing from the second requester as required under the statute. Be that as it may, the village is still looking through its records to locate the documents in question and will reply within the statutory 20 business days. As all of us are aware, the village's documents and records are in need of compilation and additional management, which is why the village received the grant for records management with the goal of making these documents easier to access both village employees and the public. Bottom line is, I don't have the documents. This was a series of documents. Trustee Raymond was reading from some. I do not have all the documents together. I am in the process of getting them together, and we will have them in due time. Okay. Anybody else?
Well, just the other comments about not meeting fire chief. You're right, I should have met him earlier. It's one reason I really wanted to have all the departments do annual reports, was to make sure that we all got to know them and were introduced to them and they shared what they did. So I'm a big believer in getting to know these people. So I appreciate the comments, and probably a little intimidated about going down there because I know that, in the last election, fire people running against me, and but I shouldn't be so shy. I should go down, and I'll make a point of doing that. And also, I just want to, if I misspoke about the coffee joke, I apologize. I don't remember doing it, but if I did, it was completely not the tenor of the conversation, which was a very serious conversation that because we care about trying to improve the situation. So I apologize if I offended you, if I said that. I don't remember saying it, but if it's in the record, I must have.
It wasn't just me,
That's,
it was.
okay.
All right,
You-
so I
I'm sorry, I
apologize.
had my phone.
I apologize.
Yes, and we want to end this back and forth. All right, does any other trustee want to comment on anything, please?
I'd like to just comment about the last word. I know there's been some criticism of it, but up until we started doing that, we just had public comment and there were questions that, as you raised questions, and then we ended the meeting. And this was added to give immediate response to the public. So this was an added feature, which you don't see in most boards. So to criticize us for having the last word, really, if you don't think it's useful, you can go back to just having public comment and then we all go home. So I think it's an enhancement, not a detriment.
Conversation is an enhancement.
That, please. Okay. Okay, with that, I need a motion that the vouchers number 22-00181 to 22-101705 be audited and the meeting adjourned at 8, I have 8:10 p.m. Is that correct? 8:11. Okay, 8:11 p.m. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by trustee Raymond. May I have a second, please? Second by trustee Daskett, and please, I don't want to get in trouble with the village clerk. Make sure you sign the form for the abstract, okay? All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Just before the 2-hour mark on the March 1st budget workshop. Go listen to it. Yeah, I did.